minor spoilers for Slow Horses 2002, 2003, but if you haven't watched it now, you're not going to watch it. You probably don't have Apple TV because you're not. The main building of MI5 is called the Park, this hot desking kind of thing. Whereas the heroes, the plucky team of misfits, are in a Victorian townhouse. The outside is a building that's there called 126 Aldgate Street. So I think when the books were written in the mid-2000s, it was just about credible that you could have like £1 million townhouse. It could be on the books of Ministry of Defence, nobody would care. But now in 2025, that building would be worth 10 million at least. The British government would sell this thing like that and move them to actual Slough or Croydon or Cheltenham or somewhere else out of London. Their mysterious leader drinks single malt and drives an old Honda Civic, so they clearly base him on me.
You yourself are worth somewhere in the vicinity of $9 or $10 billion today. I only say that because I've got a follow-up question.
Okay.
What's with the Honda?
This is a perfectly good car.
I don't think I'm giving anything away, where the basic premise of the show is that MI5 is tasked with capturing or disrupting fascist groups and communist groups, but then acts as the most authoritarian fascist institution going. So the beginning of season 2, 2003, this is spoilers, might begin here. He's such a great actor. The great thing about Slow Horses, as well as that, the premise, is also the actors it gets are amazing. It's just got like the best British actors you can find. And then as well as real heroes driving Honda Civics, you've got this technologist in a centre, does all the actual real work, heavy lifting of the show, and gets no credit. That's kind of like real life. Oh look, here's a chip and pin machine there. That would have been handy. And then he has the old monitors. I have the same problem. When you're a tech person, you update your monitors, but the old ones are still perfectly fine. So you don't know what to do with them. So I literally have 2 old monitors replacing these monitors. Random networking rack in the background. Everyone clustered around while you do the real work. This is often my life. It's been my life. Try to spoiler free way as possible in this episode. So Phil Davis, what an actor. He takes a train. Marylebone, I love this station, Marylebone. This is how I get into when I get into London and I have a choice. It's much calmer than going into Euston Station. But it's only really useful if you want to go to West London. Also much nicer at the other end. Moore Street is much calmer than New Street. New Street is like a huge, one of the biggest stations in England. It's like going through an airport, whereas Moore Street feels more like a local station. So big fan of Marylebone train station. Anyway, he takes a train and then they want the CCTV image from the train. This doesn't really make a lot of sense. The MI5 is the kind of anti-hero in this show. The real MI5 is even scarier and even more authoritarian than it's depicted, because they have the Investigatory Powers Act, the IPA, also called Snoopers Charter, and it gives MI5 the legal authority to acquire communications data, stored data, internet connection records, bulk data sets, equipment, interception, anything really, from any company or any person in the UK. The MI5 can just demand stuff. It's for those people living in Germany or in America with like constitutional protections. This is a monarchy. If MI5 wants it, they get it. So MI5 will say, we need the data, and the company will say, here it is. I mean, they might say, we need the CCTV from this train. This request is made under the Data Protection Act 2016, Schedule 2, Paragraph 2, National Security Exemption. Or they might say, IPA 2016, Part 9, Section 252, National Security Notes. They'll give some verbiage. If the train company doesn't give the data immediately, then they'll go to jail. Everyone will go to jail. Everyone will be carted off and sent to some British version of Guantanamo Bay. So there is no, needing to hack the train company's systems. And it doesn't matter if the train company systems are too basic to have a web access. They say, give me the data, and the train company people will drop everything and find the data. Let's just say that Slough House, these misfit ones, they don't want to contact head office, and they don't want to let head office know what they're doing, so maybe they don't send the lawyers in. But yeah, in real life, they just ring it and say, give us the data now. If they don't, we'll drag you all away. So it doesn't seem like it on a day-to-day basis, but we are actually a monarchy in Britain, and the government, when it wants something, it gets it. There is no court order, there's no warrant, there's no First Amendment, there's no Second Amendment or Fourth Amendment or anything. It's just they'll get it, and that's that. So somehow she knows where one of the workers for the data center shops. He's got his wallet there in his back trousers pocket, just hanging out there to fall out. And he's getting some very nice gluten-free wafers.
Shit, sorry.
She grabs it, she takes the ID card out, and then she puts the wallet back. Surely you wouldn't need to do that. Any locksmith or pen tester I mean, you get things directly off the internet will clone an NFC card, right? So all she has to do is walk past this bot, and then like I noticed in Lidl, their NFC readers, they're really powerful. You can be like 10 centimeters away, and it'll go beep. It's supposed to be tap like 4 centimeters. Let's just say she just like brushes it or taps it. I mean, she could surely just clone the card. I mean, the card, when it talks to the door, it gives off information, so that could just record that, clone that. Any locksmith or any pen tester or whatever would have that ability. And surely MI5, even our misfit outfit from MI5, would have access to that, especially since, you know, they've got on the team this tech wizard. That surely, and she seems to be a tech wizard as well. There seems to be a device. Surely you could just clone the cards without ever taking the wallet out of his trousers.
Someone drop this. Oh, thank you.
See, she's unnecessarily detected. She could have just beep, just cloned the card hanging off his trousers. MI5 device or a pen testing device wouldn't make any noise, but she could have cloned the card directly. Maybe they don't want to encourage that. Maybe they're bound by what the censors will allow to go out. The British censors will allow to go out. British censorship is a whole another thing. Imagine I'm still wearing my blue hoodie and didn't get rained on. Complete seamless insert not. There are different door cards. I asked the AI fact-check me. ChatGPT refused to talk about it. The way I asked it somehow triggered some kind of security review, and it didn't want to take the question seriously, so I've gone to Grok. And it says, most common real-world NFC access cards, they can be cloned in seconds by simply tapping the original card against a device like a Flipper Zero, an Android phone with the right kind of apps, and then other devices. Processors literally hold a legitimate card against a cloner. Cloner reads the UID and readable data blocks. The cloner writes that blank magic card or directly emulates it. Done. But then some cards are a bit harder to clone by tapping, breaking strong encryption, which is infeasible, physical at the tips, or having the master key, which MI5 might have already. So government buildings, they mandate approved systems and hold backdoor keys. Some prisons, courts and police facilities, certain critical infrastructure may be required to use home office systems with key escrow. If the MI5 or any other UK agency accountants a properly encrypted modern access control system that they cannot get the keys for simply by compelling the building owner or manager, then they will quietly hand the problem to GCHQ. What GCHQ can actually do in 2025 depends heavily on the system. Can GCHQ literally break it in days or weeks without the master keys? Some of them, yes. Some of them not known. Yes, broken years ago. As far as we know, which is not very far, it can break some systems and it doesn't break other systems. Actually, we can ask a more direct question. Does the server room that holds CCTV footage for the Chiltern Wales railway service from Marylebone Station, would that be critical infrastructure that will follow Home Office guidance and escrow the key? Yes. The server room containing the primary CCTV footage for the entire Chiltern Railways network would very likely be treated as part of the UK's critical national infrastructure, or at very least a key asset in the transport sector. Railways are explicitly listed as critical national infrastructure under the Centre for the Protection of National Infrastructure and the Department of Transport. CCTV systems on the network are considered a counter-terrorism security asset. Retention and rapid law enforcement access to all rail CCTV is a national priority. Chiltern Railways falls under the C&I framework. The Chiltern Railways is currently privatised, but when Labour come in, they nationalise them, and when Conservatives come in, they privatise them. But currently, Arriva UK Trains is owned by Deutsche Bahn, so it's private, which is owned by the German government, which is milking the British railway users for all they can. That's not fair. They do a good job. You do a good job, Chiltern Railways. We love you, Chiltern Railways. We love you, data scientists. The Home Office issue national security guidance to all rail operators on physical security of key management allows rapid warrant access by police, MI5, without damage, counter-terrorism police, and without damaging the door or causing alert. Master key escrow. A sealed override key or master token is lodged with the British Transport Police or the local city unit. Some systems have a specific police key or a credential pre-programmed at the correct blah, blah. So they've got police backdoor in the systems. Any room containing primary CCTV storage could be entered by counter-terrorism officers within minutes, without them needing to locate a staff member. A server room holding the master CCTV recordings for the entire Chiltern Railway line would almost certainly use a modern encrypted card system, have a police override card or escrowed master key available on demand. MI5 would not need to clone the card by tapping it. They'd simply call the British Transport Police control room or the C&I liaison, get handed or already possess the override credential and walk straight in. It's quiet, leaves no trace, and perfectly legal under the C&I access protocols. I mean, I guess the guy writing these books in the mid-2000s didn't have Grok. He didn't have ChatGPT either, but then ChatGPT won't tell you anything. Then we get this. So they've had the plan for hours, and she's going to go there and she's going to go in there at 9, and it's 8:50. It's 8:58, and the tech guru is typing like a concert pianist, like they always do in Hollywood movies. He had hours to orchestrate this hack. He would at least save it to a bash script, surely. He would at least save it to a file. If not, have just a big button say go. If not, have a cron that just automatically opens the door at 9 o'clock. So somehow, if he's in control of their system and can turn the power off, they didn't need to beep his trousers. They could have just got any card and put that in their access database. And so she could have beeped in with her Tesco club card or whatever. So he's doing his piano. Like, and then because he's so busy eating his sandwich, he doesn't let her in until 9:04. She has to sit around and dodge the guards. And when he finishes his sandwiches, he remembers about the spy and he types yes. Remember, this train company was too stingy to provide a web API for their CCTV. You can see where all the money went. Their data center is designed by the same people who must have designed Darth Vader. I mean, she's literally the Death Star. What are all these blinking lights about? And they're all different on every machine, so it don't even help because, like, you can't even glance your eye over the servers and see which one's wrong because they all have got loads of blinking lights, so they're all different. It has this KVM terminal conveniently on the server. In real life, they'll be like on the side and you have to take it there. Mr. Robot did like really good tech. So you've got a KVM terminal which happens to be on the server, but if you've got like a huge server rack, these little monitor keyboard things are expensive, so they just keep them and move them around if necessary. They're not really necessary, you just do everything remotely anyway, but there's no menus or anything. She immediately gets into the system.
I got home. She lifted my wallet and handed it in. The card was gone. Fucking crazy.
He figures out his card's been stolen, but it doesn't seem to ring the police or anything. So she immediately knows how the system works. Somehow. They run around like the Death Star. And look at this server room. It's insane, look at this. Looks like something out of the Borg. I've been in a few server rooms and they never look as cool as this. It's like a nightclub. And all these lights, they've got different things on. I mean, what do they mean? I mean, it's impossible. What do they mean? Oh, beautiful LEDs. But what do they mean? Nothing. Servers don't look anything like this, and if they did, the lights would be the same, so you could tell which one's wrong or something. But they're all, yeah. This is like Darth Vader aesthetic. It's like Darth Vader's lights on his Darth Vader suit. That's the aesthetic. What are all these gaps between the servers about? That's a huge waste of money. Why is it lit blue like a nightclub? I have been in server rooms with really bad lighting, but it's usually like fluorescent strip lighting that somebody's forgot to replace or something. Where's all the wiring? I mean, this is like Steve Jobs. Well, Steve Jobs wouldn't like all the lights, but the wiring, is it underneath? There's no wiring going up or down. Real servers have wiring all over the place, like underneath, on top, everywhere. These are like, the wiring must be in the floor. And it's just the metal is so pure. It's in like, the shape of them is so nice. Like, a real server has got like hard edges and, you know. These are lights. All of the lights, all of the lights. And she gets in without any key or anything. I mean, real server rooms don't have people running around doing steps. I mean, they're just stepping around all the time. Maybe it's because there's card nicked, they're trying to figure it out. But yeah, the people are being heat and mess. I mean, humans are heat and mess. You don't want humans there, you don't need them. That's the extra cleaning cost of having these people like walking around all night doing tens of thousands of steps around the server room, putting dust everywhere, putting their body heat everywhere. So she runs around the server racks. What is she doing? I mean, and then she finds a particular one. Again, there's no key on the door. And then she pulls out these hard drives. And 146 gigabytes. I mean, how old are these hard drives? I mean, this is something we found in... this will be something the TV set found, right? They'll be recording a TV set and they'll have props department or something. And they're like, give me some server racks. And this is something they got out of the bin or something. I mean, 146 gigabytes. And an SD card now can have like a terabyte. I mean, 146 gigabytes. This is tiny. The electricity in running such small hard drives, you wouldn't do it. You'd just replace them with like a bigger hard drive and save all the electric. Especially because this is in London. I mean, you house this server farm in London. I mean, it's not too expensive in London, so to have server rooms and all the... It's very weird. I mean, like, great from a thematic perspective, but makes no sense from a text perspective. People walking around. I mean, then they have CCTV, then they have like a desk to sit on, you know, and CCTV units and security systems. We spend it all on the lights. We spend it all on the LEDs. It's the most beautiful server room I've ever seen. But... Oh, it's got some fans on the top, so it does look... That one unit at least is something, but... And then she just pulls hard drives out. One, the machine would be going absolutely mental at this point. The server would be bleeping, would be alarm. The alarms would be going off. I mean, she's just killed the RAID array. I mean, on a server, files just aren't stored like in one physical location. It'd be a RAID array. By pulling it out, she's crashed the RAID array. And she doesn't have, like, discrete files. She'll just have a lot of noise because the server files will be saved, you know, across the RAID array. So she's just got some random noise, and she's probably destroyed the original things. But she hasn't been detected, so why does she do this? She then throws one of them across the floor to distract them, but she hasn't been detected. I mean, she could have done this whole op. She could have just beeped the guy's card in the supermarket, and then she could have... How the hell does she know which hard drives to pull? And it's impossible because it's an RAID array. It's not how it works. But anyway, she could have just pulled them out quietly. They would have never known anything. They still don't know anything until they throw a hard drive across the floor, and they just stare at it like a bunch of... Throws it across the floor for no reason. You know, the stormtroopers stand there looking at it. And somehow caught the alarm and the lights go on. The best thing, though, was, I say the best to last, was this machine. This is an Apple show. She expected to pimp Macs everywhere it could, but... Okay, so here he is, hacking into the Death Star server room. Okay, we've got the e-waste monitors here on the right, which I like. He's got 6 monitors. And clearly, despite being an Apple show, no Apple computer supports 6 monitors. This looks like a trading desk more than a hacker or a software developer or anything. If you're a trader, you have Bloomberg terminal-y things that show market data. A Mac, you can't have many screens. You can have Display Link, which is a horrible software thing. It has like a virtual monitor and then takes like a shot of the screen and sends it over USB and puts it onto the monitor, but it's slow and crap. So if you want a Mac, you use the screen it came with. You don't have all these kind of screens. That's like a Linux or a Windows thing to do. So despite it being an Apple production, it shows that Apple is quite limited in terms of what you can do with it. Yeah, I do use Macs because they're better than Windows machines, and I work for a client, and the agency will usually send me a Mac because, or often send me, I work for clients, and those clients have all their software behind VPNs and have all kinds of data legal requirements. So the agency will often buy a machine, have it set up with a client and send it to me, and then I'll use it for a couple of years, and they'll then write it off and then won't pick it up again. That's more e-waste. So I'll end up with a pile of Macs. So I do quite like Macs, but they're not really like... The ultimate developer machine is Linux, and the hero here is using Linux. How real it is and how much it's some kind of recorded video, I don't know, but we can see some kind of machine, some kind of glowy lights on the left here. I don't know, or as I say, it could be just behind here. There's a load of towers projecting the images, or I don't know how fake it is. He has 1 keyboard. I have had 6 monitor setups in the past, but not for one machine. This one is empty. This one has 1 website on it. This one is half empty. This one has some kind of VS Code type IDE. This has a couple of Linux terminals, and that has a Linux terminal. So the utilization of these 6 screens is not very high, which is realistic because unless you're a market trader and you always have the same thing, so you know what to look at. I mean, nobody can really use 6 screens effectively. I have had 6 monitor setups. I might have 2 or 3 screens for my own machine that my own company owns, and then I might have a couple of screens for the MacBook or whatever, or ThinkPad the client wants me to use, and then I might have another machine which might have smart home stuff on it or status updates on it or Raspberry. 6 monitors is 1 machine. It's possible, and there's only 1 keyboard, so he's only got 1 machine because he's only got 1 keyboard, unless he's using KVM, but I think he's probably going to 1 machine. I mean, it would make sense if you're an MI5 person, you would have like several computers. You might have a computer that gets you into the MI5 stuff, and you might have like another computer for developing on. If your place really forces you to use Windows, you might have like a Windows thing and then a Linux one to develop on or something. But yeah, in my case, 5 monitors is way enough. And if it's really sunny, then 1 monitor is enough, right? If it's really sunny and you want to go out work outside, then you suddenly find you don't need all these monitors. But anyway, yeah, there's a VS Code, some kind of JavaScript-y like code on the left. Things here, we've got ComKey running there. There's a status app you have on thin, low-fat Linux distributions. And then the menus and the clocks and stuff look like XFCE. Some prop maker with a good attention to detail has made this up. So I mean, that's XFCE4. I mean, what's running in the terminals? That's Conky on the left running there. These windows, I have absolutely no idea what they're supposed to be. It's like a bit like a hex editor, but then it's a bit like a network monitor, all mushed together. I mean, these aren't quite long enough to be MAC addresses. What I do quite like is kind of got a basic thing going on here. Got a BBC Basic or something going on here, QBasic, because there are some commands in here, like run, resume, read. It's kind of a bit confused because there's like low-level stuff, but then you have this high-level stuff, and you have remote shell connected, and then you have a Linux prompt here, like a bash prompt. Somewhere in London, there's a prop artist who knows what XFW4 is, and I respect that. These maximize, minimize, close buttons, they're definitely XCE. I mean, this font is so Linux. Deja Vu Sans Mono, or Libertine Linux Mono. I mean, this is the default GTK menu bar. Thunar, the file manager. Even in an Apple-made spy show, the real hero who does all the work is a Linux sysadmin. Oh, just notice something else. The bottom left corner here, it looks like Conky, but that IP address is so fake that it's another TV app trying to be real but not real. I mean, the generic XFCE icons have an underline for minimize, a square for maximize, and a close button. And this is the same design language here, albeit different theme. This is a generic XFCE theme, and this is some other theme. The words file, actions, edit, view, help are definitely the right menus for a Linux distribution of the period. They're making this 2022, 2021. Several Linux distributions from that period, their terminal has file, actions, edit, view, help. And actions later gets changed to something else. But if you do Alt F, you do get the file menu on Linux, and Alt E gets the edit menu, and Alt F V gets the view menu, and Alt H gets the help menu. So these definitely are accurate keyboard shortcuts. The apps are completely fake. You know, they made their own apps, but the terminal might be real. Yeah, file, actions, edit, view, help. That's an ugly one, but it's file, actions, edit, view, help. So it's probably Kali Linux. It could be Ubuntu, but since it looks a lot more like XFCE, and it kind of, it's cool kind of throwback to Mr. Robot that has Kali Linux. But perhaps Mr. Robot, they did lots of things in terms of like clearing the production company to use, giving them permissions to use Linux distributions. I mean, Linux distributions don't care. I mean, they'd want you to use their distribution in TV, but I guess to stop being super copyright, you have to give lots of disclaimers and stuff. And if Kali Linux has already done that for Mr. Robot, maybe somehow in the background it's connected. Definitely Kali Linux at the time had file, actions, edit, view, help. If it's a real XFCE4 terminal, file, actions, edit, view, help, but all the apps running inside are fake. It'd be pretty easy to get a Linux distribution like Kali Linux, fiddle with the theming so it looks a bit more generic and doesn't say Linux anywhere. Open the terminal and run a load of text scripts that run it. I mean, that's like the easiest possible way to make this thing. I want to stay on the free plan. I just want to be able to ask another question. Annoying. Right. Yes, you're spot on with your analysis. This is almost certainly a real Linux system, very likely Kali Linux, running on a lightly themed XFCE environment, captured for the show. So you don't know how much AI's wish fulfillment. They just want to give you a nice happy answer. XFCE terminal is instantly recognizable. The exact menu bar wording, file, actions, edit, help, view was the default in Kali's XFCE terminal in 2001-2003. The underlying access keys are classic XFCE. Yeah, they are classic GTK. I think they are. That is GTK. The title bar buttons scream XFCE. Yeah, the font is a bit of a giveaway. It's just such a Linuxy font. Yeah, I mean, you can do it with bash scripts. I mean, you could do it. You could make this with a Linux distro, theme out anything too specific, and these are just bash scripts or Python scripts or anything that's just running. The theming is a most a day, the coding is a most a day, and then have meetings. I don't think it's complete gibberish because I think somebody's decided we're going to have a thing which looks a bit like Tor, a thing which looks a bit networky, a thing which looks like system information. Within what the data fields are, randomize them, I'm sure. Okay, the command at the bottom one window is cryptobabble, but I think, again, to get through the sensors and to not cause any legal trouble, they need to not have something working. It needs to be something that is babble. So Grok thinks they absolutely used a real Kali Linux or Debian derivative used theme to look like Kali. Real distro, real desktop environment, real terminator, just dressed up with fake data for dramatic effect. Possibly. Let's see what Gemini thinks. This is a very astute observation. I love the flattery of the AIs. Menu bar, window decorations, menu bar mnemonics. This is the standard feature of many GTK-based applications. Yeah. So you press Alt and the letter in it. That's very Linux. It's very common and practical for TV and film productions to create the visuals of a fake operating system or application by using real underlying software. They use a real Linux distribution, like a likely modified Debian or Ubuntu or Kali variant as the base OS. They use a real terminator like XFCE 4 terminal for the window. They use real shell scripts or compiled programs to rapidly print fake data to the screen, often in an endless group. This looks much more authentic and dynamic than the static graphic. The apps themselves, the logic data are the fake, but the OS terminal and the scripts are very much real, which is why you can detect the underlying UI framework. They simply themed XFCE with a dark, low-res look to fit the show's aesthetic. Would you like to know more about the real-world networking concept the fake scripts are trying to emulate? DNS resolution, relay success? Sure. That's a great question. Can you ask it yourself? The fake scripts in the screenshot are terminology that strongly represents real-world network discovery and routing processes. Oh yeah, Tor. So it's like very Tor, like onion router, yeah. So like there's sort of somebody has put some thought into this. It's like he's hiding his steps by going round a few Tor steps first before hacking the Chiltern Railways train company. So there we go. Onto something there. Onto something. Watch more of the show and we'll find out if we see any more Linux distributions or anything else to talk about.
This is a perfectly good car.